I think I should start putting water in the vessels outside in my garden and on my terrace because summer has come and the birds might be feeling thirsty. So, if you can do the same, please go ahead and do it. The birds will be happy and it will make you a bit more human. Yes. Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you all are doing good and you are taking care of yourselves. So, I've been reading this book, A Coat of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. And if you guys don't know, this series means a lot to me in many ways that I'm not going to share in here. So I've been reading this book and I realized that there's this character Nesta who has a lot of traumas from the wars and from the past, and she is trying to get over it, but she is really struggling to do that because that is what mental health is. You struggle from inside and your struggles, the pain, it can't be shown. Like, it just, a person in front of you cannot see how much in pain you are. So I just thought that why not I should make a video related to mental health reads. Like, if you guys want to add more books related to mental health in your TBR, then this video is for you all. I really had to tore myself apart from the book in order to get up from the couch and rush in front of the camera to make the video because I have been so much into this book. By the way, I wasn't even able to find a bookmark, and so I had to make my own book the bookmark. That shows how much I love this series. So what I'm gonna do that is I'll show you the book and I will tell you what the book is about, and I'll read the backside for you all because I've read the book a very long time ago. Like, there are most of the books that I haven't read recently, so I cannot remember the proper plot and I don't want to tell you the misinformation or misguide you. So I'll read the backside for you all in case you want to skip, like you know how to skip that thing. So yes, without further talking, let's just get into the video because this video is getting weird as hell. First book is Made You Up by Francisca Zappia. That's how we pronounce her name, I guess. So this book deals with a rare condition of mental health, and that is schizophrenia. I hope I pronounced it right. So what schizophrenia is basically, it is a person cannot distinguish from reality. Like, he cannot tell or she cannot tell what is reality, if the thing that person is saying is even real or it's just the imagination. So this book deals with, the protagonist of the book deals with that thing and she tries to hide it. And that, I really like this book. Like, if I'll get the time, I will surely reread this book. When I took out the books for making this video, I just felt like, oh my god, this book was so good, and why I didn't why I just left it there. So maybe I'll reread it. I'll reread it if I'll get the time. Now I'll read the back to you all. Armed with a take no prisoner attitude, her camera, a magic 8 ball, and her only ally, her little sister, Alex fights a daily battle to decipher what is real and what is not. And after an extremely unfortunate incident, Alex is ready for a fresh start at a school where no one recognizes her. Before she knows it, Alex is making friends, going to parties, falling in love. But her inability to separate her delusions from reality is always just under the surface, and it could have disastrous consequences for the people closest to her because she has started this new beginning, but people don't know about her, and that is just scary. So if you want to know more about that disease, more about that problem, please pick this book up if you want to. Next book is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I think a lot of you have heard this name of the book. So this book deals with social anxiety and how a person, it is really, it's not easy to get out of that comfort zone that your mind, shows you and tells you that yes, this is the comfort zone that you have to stay in. So this book deals with social anxiety, and I do have more 4 to 5 books that will talk about the same topic. Let's read the back. Kat and Rain are identical twins, and until recently they are They did absolutely everything together. Now they are off to universities, and Ren's decided she doesn't want to be one half of a pair anymore. She wants to dance, meet boys, go to parties and let loose because she's novel. It's not so easy for Kath. She would rather bury herself in a fan fiction she writes where there's romance far more intense than anything she's experienced in real life. Now Kath has to decide whether she's ready to open her heart to new people and new experiences, and she is realizing that there's more to learn about love than she ever thought possible. So this book shows how she gets out of that shell, how she slowly recognizes that it's not that tough to get, to tell your anxiety to just shut up and back off. So yes, that's all this book talks about. The next book is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, and John Green is one of my favorite author from the contemporary side. So this book talks about the OCD. The main character has this OCD. In case you don't know what OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder, where you cannot just stop yourself from thinking, and that spiral just goes on, and how a person has to deal with it. So let me read out the thing to you. Okay, 16-year-old Eliza never intended to pursue the mystery of fugitive billionaire Russell Pickett, but there's a $100,000 reward at stake, and her best and most fearless friend Daisy is eager to investigate. So together they navigate the short distance and broad divides that separates them from Russell Pickett's son Davis. She's trying to be a good daughter, a good friend, a good student, and maybe even a good detective, while also living within the ever-tightening spiral of her own thoughts, as I said. I'll say if you want to give a try to this book, please go ahead and do it, because nowadays anxiety, overthinking, frustration, depression, stress, these things has become so much that a person should know that how to deal around with such people. And I think this book will really help you out to understand everything, and of course the ones who are like me, who have anxiety themselves, will really relate to this book. So in case you're looking, so please go ahead and grab this one as well. The next is Looking for Alaska, again by John Green, and here Alaska looks, the main protagonist of the book, she looks so confident, so fierce and particle. This book shows that how we fail to realize that what the person is going through. Like one day she just ends her life, and that leaves her friend, the guy who likes her, in this uncertainty. I'll just read the back to you. My hairs are really acting weird nowadays. I don't know why. So but let's read this, then I'll settle them. If people were rain, I was drizzle and she was hurricane. Miles Halter's whole life has been one big non-event until he meets Alaska Young. Gorgeous, clever, and undoubtedly screwed up, Alaska draws Miles into her reckless world and irrevocably steals his heart. For Miles, nothing can ever be the same again. That's it. So I know you people have heard about this book, and many of you might have read. In case if you haven't, then consider reading it. Okay, so I'm back after setting the dispute with my hairs. So coming to the next book, it's Eliza and Her Monster, again by Francisca Zappia. And again, this book deals with anxiety and social anxiety as well. Like we can say GAD, general anxiety disorder, to be honest. And also there's this guy who just don't know how to talk first, and is is the biggest, the intense introvert, I can say, I have read about. So this book shows how the people who are introvert, who just are good with themselves, they don't want to get out that much, have their life, and that's all. I'm reading the back to you all. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, so in the real world, Eliza Mirk is shy, weird, popular and friendless. Online, she is Lady Constellation and the anonymous creator of the widely popular webcomic Monstrous Sea. Eliza can't imagine enjoying the real world as much as she loves the online ones, and she has no desire to try because she has found her comfort zone and her mind won't let her leave that comfort zone so easily. Then Wallace Walland, Monstrous Sea's biggest fanfiction writer, transfers to her school. Wallace thinks Eliza is just another fan, and as he draws her out of a shell, she begins to wonder if a life offline might be worthwhile. But when Eliza's secret is accidentally shared with the world, everything she built, her story, her relationship with Wallace, and even her sanity begins to fall apart. In this book, we have given the sketches of the webcomic that she made. There are more. Wait a minute. Look. So yes, there are this small part of her webcomic as well given. She gets into she even gets hospitalized after the incident happened, that where she people realizes that who she is. She is the Lady Constellation, but you read the book and you'll know the struggle. The next book is Playlist for the Dead. Now this book deals with depression and suicide. There's this friend who was in a party last night and today he has just committed a suicide, and his best friend is left to wonder why. So this book will tell you how the people who are still living, how their life just changes so drastically after you ends your life. So one shouldn't. That's what I'll say. This is what Sam knows. There was a party, there was a fight. The next day, his best friend Hayden was dead. And all he left Sam was a playlist of songs and a suicide note. As he listens to song after song, Sam tries to face up to what happened the night Hayden killed himself. But only when he takes out his earbuds and opens his eyes to the people around him, including a complicated, secretive girl, will he be able to piece together Hayden's story and maybe have a chance to change his own life. So what we see sometimes, it's just not real, or we just fail to see the reality behind everything. So the next book is Life is What You Make It by Priti Shinoy, and this book deals with the patient who has a bipolar disorder. Now there's this girl who has this bipolar disorder and she really struggles to live a normal life. In case you don't know what bipolar disorder is, it is the phase where the person is just so high, so enthusiastic and he can do anything, but then there comes the shift and then the person is all depressed and cannot even move their finger as well. So and there's no in between. They just either go this way or that way and it just keeps shifting. So that is really a terrible mental illness, I'll say. And yes, so this book shows what it is, and especially what I liked about this book is that this book is written by an Indian author, and in India, mental health is still considered as taboo. Of course, there are a lot of people who talk openly now, including me, but there are still, it's taboo. Still, it's a taboo. A lot of people just can't accept, they just can't change. So yes, and so you should try reading this book. It's easy to read and it does have a sequel. So in case you're interested in this one, you can try the sequel out as well. Of course, I told you that this girl is all bright and happy, but then things hit her hard and she gets into severe bipolar disorder, and that is all about this book, so I'm not going to read backside for this. The next book is A Tragic Kind of Wonderful by Eric Lindstrom, and this book again deals with bipolar disorder, and I am going to read the backside for you all. Mel Hannigan doesn't have it easy, mourning the death of a firework of a brother, facing the loss of 3 friendships that used to mean everything to her, and struggling to deal with a condition that even her closest friends don't know about. To protect herself and everyone else, Mel tries to lock away her heart, to leave quietly without pain, but also without hope, until the plight of an old friend and meeting someone new shows her that the risk is worth taking, that opening up to life and who you really are is what can make everything glorious, and that maybe Mel can discover a kind of wonderful of her very own. So if you want, just give this book a try. Next book is My Heart and the Other Black Hole by Jasmine Warga, and to be honest, I ordered this book by, when I was even I was feeling suicidal that time, so I just ordered this book, and this book has been a lovely read, and I love the cover. To be honest, I love this cover of the book. So without talking much, I'll just read the back to you all. 16-year-old physics nerd Asil is obsessed with plotting her own death. With a mother who can barely look at her without wincing, classmates who whisper behind her back, and a father whose violent crime rocked her small town, Asil is ready to turn her potential energy into nothingness. There's only one problem: she is not sure she has the courage to do it alone. But once she discovers a website with a section called Suicide Partner, Asil's convinced she's found a solution. Roman, a teenage boy who's haunted by a family tragedy, is looking for a partner. Even though Asil and Roman have nothing in common, they slowly start to fill each other's broken lives. But as their suicide pact becomes more concrete, Asil begins to question whether she really wants to go through it. Ultimately, she must choose between wanting to die or trying to convince Roman to leave so they can discover the potential of their energies together. So I was really shocked to know that there are sites on the internet that provides you with the suicide partners. So this was something that I discovered while reading this book, and discovering that thing really shocked me a lot. Okay, so let's move on to the next. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Now this book is compared to The Fault in Our Stars, and to be honest, nothing can compare to Fault in Our Stars. But I'll say that this book is really depressive, and this book is something that you should consider before reading if depression and suicide is something that triggers you. All these books, please consider before reading if things like that trigger you. I'm saying it again and again. So there is Theodore Finch wants to take his own life. Okay, and Violet Markey is devastated by her sister's death. They meet on the ledge of the school bell tower, and so their story begins. It's only together they can be themselves. But as Violet's world grows, Finch begins to shrink. How far will Violet go to save the boy she has come to love? And this is the saddest story, one of the saddest story that you all guys will read. if you're thinking to read it. Moving on to the last book, and that is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. Yes, that's the name. So I didn't know the story about what the book is all about, and I didn't know, but I just got attracted towards the book. Is that possible? Yes. For a bookworm, it's possible to get attracted towards the books. And I was also, I like these pictures that are given between this book, like this, and I really wanted to have this book in my collection. So I bought this, but then I read this book and I realized this book is also really, really sad and deep. So Hannah Baker, as you all know, has committed suicide and has lived has shared these 13 tapes for the guy, what's his name, Clay Jason. As I told you, I have read this book a long ago, so I'm sorry. Let me just read out the back to you all. Clay Jensen doesn't want anything to do with the tapes Hannah Baker made. Hannah died 2 weeks ago. Her secret would be buried with her. Then Hannah's voice explains that there are 13 reasons why she died, and Clay is one of them. Though the boy is so sweet and he does nothing. If he listens, he'll learn that he is in some way responsible for her death. All through the night, Clay keeps listening. He follows Hannah's recorded words around his small town, and what he discovers will change his life forever. So, basically this book shows about that maybe you are bullying someone normally or for fun, but you don't know how that bullying will impact the person in front of you, and some people just go on doing that, and that should be stopped. You don't know what the person is feeling on the inside. And I would say that if you have these problems, if you are not feeling okay, if you have your traumas, your past, please at least speak up for yourself. That's what I am doing, and that's what I am, that is something, speaking helps. I never used to speak about the things that triggers me on, about the anxiety that I face so many times, but speaking helps. I have tried, and that's why I am telling you all. So that was all for today's video. I know maybe you might have felt the energy a bit low, but to be honest, the books are just like that, and I vibe with the books, and I get attracted towards the books. So this is me, a reader, a normal human reader. That's the normal thing to happen. So these were the books. If you think that you want to read, please, I have told you that all this book just relates with suicide and everything, so that thing trigger you, so don't pick it up. If you want to know what it is to have a mental illness and how people go through it, and if you want to understand all of the stuff, then please do read to any of that book which you think you might be interested in. So that was all for today's video, guys. The video has become long enough, and I'm really sorry for that, but not sorry as well. Yes, so keep loving yourself, because self-love is something to prioritize. Mental health is something to prioritize. You people matter, and stay connected. Bye bye.